Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the Munsters. More specifically about Yvonne De Carlo, who played the amazing, the wonderful Lily Munster from the TV show The Munsters. I'm going to talk a little bit about her life in regards to what she was dealing with off camera, as well as what was happening on camera, which eventually led her to burst into tears crying from what she saw. Well, what did she see? What struggles was she going through? Well, I'm going to cover it today in this video. Now, The Munsters wasn't the first time that Yvonne De Carlo was on screen. She was in many different movies, films, going back to even the 40s, like Slave Girl, Casbah, Song of Scheherazade, so many more. She even played the wife of Moses in the 1956 movie, The Ten Commandments. She was acting alongside Clark Gable in The Band of Angels, many things. And for an actor, that was the pinnacle. That was the height of your career if you were in movies, that is, in feature films. However, when this crazy thing that's called television came out, it was a new thing, much like YouTube still is today. That seemed like scraping the bottom of the barrel, at least at the time. We see movie stars today and we think highly of them. We think of TV stars, we think highly of them as well. Maybe YouTube down over here. Well, that's how television was seen at the time. And when she was cast as Lily Munster, it was seen, even in her eyes, as a step down. She was not improving, in essence, in regards to her career. But we would say that we think differently, because we all love Lily Munster, Yvonne De Carlo. Now, she was cast in the role of Lily, the wife of Herman Munster, as well as the mother of Eddie Munster, and they had to put all this green makeup on her to make her look like quote-unquote vampira, or kind of a vampire type character who was the wife of Herman Munster, the Frankenstein character. Now, they had to put green makeup on her. It took around 2 hours to be screen ready, and when they put the makeup on her, she looked herself in the mirror and began to burst into tears. She couldn't believe that it came to this, that she had to do this to make a living. Now, these were her thoughts at the time. It was a very new thing she was doing, and off camera, she was definitely struggling in her personal life. At the time, she was married to stuntman Robert Morgan. Unfortunately, he suffered a life-altering accident when he was trying to perform a stunt aboard a moving log train for a movie, 1962. It was called How the West Was Won. Unfortunately, he failed in his attempt to try to do this stunt, and he was thrown underneath the wheels, and the accident cost him his entire leg. That is a very sad thing, and of course De Carlo was alongside Robert during this time. She put her career on hold for him. Unfortunately, they later divorced in 1974. Now, they had 2 sons together, but what's important is that she essentially had to take this job so that she could act, make a living, because her husband could no longer make a living, and then she would come home and take care of her husband. I can't even imagine to think how difficult this would be to have these difficulties at home, but also coming on set, memorizing all these lines, playing the part of mostly a happy-go-lucky wife. I mean, for the most part, yes, some of the things or some of the storylines were they would get in trouble and so forth, but this was a comedic, funny show, and I don't know, I would say that this show maybe even improved her overall happiness quality, talking about these really funny and happy scripts that they had to look after. But what was really cool is through time, Yvonne De Carlo started to notice that the Munsters show, even though it was canceled after 2 seasons because of some rerun disputes that the big head honchos have, it did become a cult classic, and people, even at the end of her life, said that they loved the show, and she understood this. She saw, in retrospect, how good she was at what she did and how people loved her for the art that she put on screen. So I don't know about you guys and gals, but even though it may be a little bit sad to think about that specific moment and the struggle, yet she was still able to take care of her 2 sons, her then husband. She was able to make a living. And yes, she is essentially immortalized to this day in her performances, that I think is amazing. People can go back and laugh at the performances she put on, at this reality that they made through this show, and I think it's absolutely amazing. That's why I think that even though these actors like us struggle up and down, they had their issues, they had their difficulties, they're still around in a way. Their performances are alive, they still make us laugh, and that is simply magical. Thank you so much, guys and gals, for supporting the work that I do. The way you do that is by thumbing up this video, subscribing, and supporting. All the links in the description, which I'll leave for you. We'll see you next time, and don't forget, guys and gals, be hopeful. Thank you so much to all my supporters, especially my Diamond tier patrons: David D, Ricky, Citizen Kane 359, Yasmin G, Lori K, and Sally N. If you want to participate and get more exclusives that are only found on Patreon, links are in the description. Thank you very much.